Charlie Kirk's memorial in Glendale, Arizona surpasses capacity at State Farm Stadium and 2 overflow locations. And we gear up for a week of Attorney General Prosecution Mayhem. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Monday, September 22nd, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Yesterday, over 200,000 people turned out to honor Charlie Kirk at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, which only has a max capacity of 73,000 people, filling up within hours of the doors opening at 8 a.m. As a result, additional attendees were then sent to the adjacent Desert Diamond Arena, home to the National Hockey League's Phoenix Coyotes, with a crowd capacity of about 20,000. That was filled up as well, leading to even more overflow locations opening. Elise McHugh, our digital fellow, joined to tell us a little bit about what things were like on the ground. All right, we now go over to our own Elise McHugh over in Arizona. I understand that State Farm is all the way filled up, and now they're concerned that even the first overflow area might be filled to capacity. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, Tony. So we are here in sunny, actually overcast Glendale, Arizona. We've been here since before 7 a.m. waiting in line with the general populace. We did not get those press passes because we want to be out here talking to people, asking them why they're here today. State Farm Stadium very quickly filled up. So did the overflow. I think we're in the overflow of the overflow, and we're just outside so we can talk to you.
So tell us what you're hearing from people so far. We know there's a lot of on-the-ground conversation. There is an enormous turnout. I'm now finding out, at least from a bulletin here when we're recording this, that there's not even a confirmed estimate for the number of people there. That, like, the last hundreds of thousands estimate is considered out of date now. What's it like there?
I have never in my entire life seen this many people come to rally around one person. And I've been to the Eras Tour, Tony. The Eras Tour started here, and it pales in comparison to the massive amount of people here. And it's not just who you think are here. We've met people from across the world. We talked to a Canadian. It's going to be in our Man on the Street compilation for the Daily Signal later. But people are just here. They're fired up. And the one thing that really speaks to me about how many people are here is we've asked them questions about their opinions and feelings about this. And we know everyone's angry, and we know everyone's sad that Charlie's gone. And we've given them every opportunity to answer aggressively. And they just answer with Christ and with positivity. And that has been so beautiful.
While there were many who spoke at Charlie's memorial, a few stood out. Following are a few of the more powerful moments from Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
His deep belief that we were all created, every single one of us, before the beginning of time, by the hands of the God of the universe, an all-powerful God, who loved us and created us for the purpose of living with him in eternity. But then sin entered the world and separated us from our Creator. And so God took on the form of a man and came down and lived among us. And he suffered like men. And he died like a man. But on the third day, he rose unlike any mortal man.
Vice President J.D. Vance.
Charlie suffered a terrible fate, my friends. We all know it. We all saw it. But think, it is not the worst fate. It is better to face a gunman than to live your life afraid to speak the truth. It is better to be persecuted for your faith than to deny the kingship of Christ. It is better to die a young man in this world than to sell your soul for an easy life with no purpose, no risk, no love, and no truth. Christ told us in the Gospel of John, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump.
To Charlie's parents who lost their beloved son, and to the entire Kirk family, we know that no words can ever be enough to fill the void he leaves behind. That's a void that just can't be filled. But I hope the extraordinary outpouring of emotion over these past 11 days has comforted you with the knowledge that your son brought more good and love into this world in his 31 short years than most people, even very, very successful people, can bring in a lifetime.
And Charlie's widow, Erica.
Father, forgive them. for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
And as we roll into the upcoming week, President Trump appears to be a little annoyed with a perceived lack of action from his Attorney General's office, saying in a post on the 20th, Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially, quote, same old story as last time, all talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They are all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done, end quote. Then we almost put in a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who was never going to do his job. That's why two of the worst Dem senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit, and that we had no case. No, I fired him, and there is a great case, and many lawyers and legal pundits say so. Lindsay Halligan is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. President DJT. This increased scrutiny on the Attorney General's office from the president found its way into the discourse on an ABC This Week panel with Donna Brazile, formerly of the DNC, Faiz Shakir, formerly of Bernie Sanders campaigns, Sarah Iger of the SCOTUS blog, and our own executive editor, Rob Bluey.
So Rob, we understand, our reporting is that the leadership of the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, opposed what Trump did on Friday, which was fire the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia because he didn't find evidence to prosecute the president's enemies, Letitia James specifically, and James Comey.
John, one of the most important roles of a president is obviously picking personnel, and President Trump has been known over the course of his first term and now the second term that he wants people in those positions who are going to move swiftly and get things done. And so if the president is displeased with somebody, it's his prerogative to remove them from a position. That's all. Personnel is policy in Washington, D.C. We all know that. And so ultimately, if a cabinet secretary may disagree with the president on that, that's a battle that will obviously play out. But in this particular case, I think what you're seeing is a frustration by President Trump that things are not moving swiftly enough. Secondly,
swiftly enough on what?
Swiftly enough across the board. I think that he wants these investigations to come to a conclusion. The president said, if they're guilty, let's make sure that we pursue that. If they're not guilty, that's fine too. I mean, those were the president's words.
The timing is that the statute of limitations is about to run in a week, and so they either have to bring charges or they don't.
Against
and
James.
If they don't have evidence to bring to a grand jury, this is going to be incredibly embarrassing for them.
But our understanding is they spent 5 months, that office, this is one of the most important U.S. attorney's offices in the country, spent 5 months looking into this allegation of mortgage fraud and found there wasn't evidence to bring a case.
In fact, if anything, they found evidence on the opposite. Her. Yes, correct.
Okay, I want to move to the other part of this, which is the free speech component. An editorial in the Free Press, Barry Weiss, Free Press, about what happened with Disney, ABC suspending Jimmy Kimmel's show. Take a look at this. They write, the circumstances under which he has been suspended should alarm anyone who cares about free speech. Is it now Trump administration policy to punish broadcasters for comedy that doesn't conform to its politics? That is censorship. For the MAGA crowd who might like what they're seeing from Carr, remember that Democrats will wield this power again, and when they do, they will play by new rules that Carr and the Trump administration just established. Rob, let me ask you, we saw very strong words from Ted Cruz and from Tucker Carlson highly critical of what the FCC is doing. Where does MAGA world break down on all of this?
John, I do have sympathy for those who have concerns about free speech. I came to Washington, D.C. My first job was to defend reporters who were facing free speech challenges. And we ourselves have suffered under the Biden administration when the Biden White House revoked the credentials of the Daily Signal and 440 other reporters 2 years ago in 2023. And so I know what it's like to be on the receiving end. At the same time, I think we need to take a step back, hopefully, and judge that Brendan Carr was asked his opinion on a podcast. He gave his opinion. He did not institute any sort of regulatory action against ABC. It was Nexstar and Sinclair that decided to preempt the show, which is what prompted ABC.
Well, that's what this editorial is about, jawboning. When an official that has the power goes out and says that kind of stuff, the Supreme Court has said that can be a form of censorship.
Yeah. Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast. And join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we dig into quite a few of these things we only had a chance to touch on in this short Top News in 10 section. That said, I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's Top News in 10. Take care.